Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're down in our old milking parlor here. So what we got going on here is something I talked about for a little bit on our Never Rest Farming podcast that we had a week or so ago. And what we got going on here is, like I said, this used to be a milking parlor and sat empty for the last 13-ish years that we've had. It's about 13 years that we've been up in the robot barn here. So what we're going to be doing is transitioning into something new for this space. So that way, what it used to do is just kind of hold our old toys for me and Duke. But now we're growing up, so we don't really need to have a spot to store all of our toys. So we're going to find something new to do here. So what we're going to do is work on building this to have a meat store inside of it. So we have a neighbor that's a carpenter, and he's going to work on starting to build this up. The plan to work on making it so that way we can have a meat store in here is that we first cleaned everything up. So we cleaned all the walls up, made sure it's all sanitary because this kind of just sat empty for a while. And what our neighbor is going to do is he's going to work on building a wall here. So that way this kind of can be like a little storage room in case you need to store stuff in here, because we don't really need a whole room for a meat store. And then he's going to build a wall here, like I said. And he's going to close off some of these doors here so that way we don't have so many doors. So that one and that one are going to get closed off to make it just a wall. We don't need to have as many doors. And that's going to, right now that's a sliding door because this is where the cows used to walk in. So if it was cold in the winter, you'd close that and stuff. But we're going to make it, instead of a sliding door, we're going to put like a normal door in there so we can actually be able to move freezers and stuff in here and stuff. So once he gets done with that, he's going to also build a floor here so that way we don't have the big pit. So what this was, is this is where you used to stand, then the cows would stand up here. This is that way the cows are at like chest level instead of having to bend down to milk them. So he's going to work on filling this in with the floor, and he's going to put a little flooring on top of the rest of this so it's not just bare concrete. So yeah, I guess we'll show you along the way as he works on doing this, and we'll show you the progress. So hopefully we can have a meat store here pretty soon. After 2 days, this is what the progress looks like. So what they've been working on so far is just the subfloor to make it so that way our floor is completely level here. They got the bottom part here and then done, so that way that holds up these 2x12s, I think. But then they're gonna basically run 5 or 6 more 2x12s or whatever these are along the whole length like this, spread out, and they're gonna put plywood on top of that. So once they get done with that, they can start working on building the wall. So see that once, see the progress once they get farther on. So it's next week on Monday. So our neighbor and this one person that helps him out have worked on the room here for a week now. So they got pretty much the floor is completely done, and they just gotta work on putting the insulation in the wall over there, and the same with the 2 spots that we have to seal off. And they just got to put new door in there and then a couple spots here. But before we can do that, we have to take this sliding door out first, because the way this door is, it's too short for a standard door. So we have to take it off and then take the bracketing from the other side here. Right, see for working through this post here, but then we gotta take this bracket off here so that way they can cut some of the top of the frame out there, so that way we can put a standard door in. We're gonna have to cut a door down. So yeah, got the ladder and the impact here, so we're gonna work on cutting that out. It's been a couple days now and just about done here. So got all the stuff sealed up and put the walls covered up and stuff. So really the only thing they gotta do is some trim along the roof, like you can kind of still see through the top of the wall where it's butted up against the tin. So they just gotta do some of that stuff here, and then neighbors pretty much got this room finished up. So probably in the video here, that way it doesn't get too long, and then we actually put freezers and stuff in here, maybe make a second video. But for now, this is where we're at with our meat market. So we'll see you guys all in the next video.